Have you ever taken a photo and thought, wait, that's not how it looked? You saw something stunning. Vibrant colors, glowing light, deep shadows, but your camera gave you a dull or confusing version of reality. Welcome. I am Eva Polak, and today we are diving into the fascinating world of how we see versus how our camera sees. Our eyes and brain work together in incredible ways, constantly adjusting, focusing, and interpreting what we look at to give us a rich, immersive experience. But your camera? It's powerful, yes, but it follows the rules, called technical ones. In this video, I will walk you through why this difference exists, show you real-world examples, and give you practical photography tips to bridge the gap, so your photos can finally reflect what you actually see. Let's get started. Let's start with a bit of science. Don't worry, I will keep it simple and fun. Your eyes are amazing. Together with your brain, they work like a high-tech image processing system that no camera can fully match. One of the biggest differences between what we see and what our camera captures comes down to dynamic range. That's the range of light and dark our eyes can process at the same time. Imagine you are standing in a forest. The sun is filtering through the trees, creating bright highlights and deep shadows. Your eyes adjust instantly. They balance the bright sky, the dark ground, and everything in between, so it all looks just right. You are not even thinking about it. Your camera, on the other hand, it struggles. It tries to expose for either the bright highlights or the dark shadows, not both. That's why your photos might have blown out skies or completely black areas with no detail. And here is the kicker. Our brain fills the gaps. It sharpens details, boosts contrast, and even corrects color tones based on experience and memory. The camera just records what's there. It doesn't interpret or adapt in real time like we do. Now that we understand why cameras see differently, let's examine how this plays out in real life and what you can do about it. Have you ever looked up at the full moon, big and glowing, and thought, I have to capture this? But when you take a photo, it turns out tiny, bright, and completely washed out. Here is why. Your eyes are adjusting to the brightness of the moon and the darkness of the night sky. Your camera, though, sees it as a one extreme light source and doesn't know how to balance it. What you can do? Use zoom to bring the moon closer. Adjust your exposure. Drop it down to avoid blowing out the moon's details. Switch to manual mode and treat the moon like it is in daylight. Use fast shutter speed and lower ISO. Try shooting the moon during twilight. There is still some ambient light, making it easier for your camera to balance exposure. You are photographing a flower, a portrait, or maybe even your coffee cup on a table. In your mind, you are imagining that gorgeous blurry background, smooth, creamy, with your subject popping off the screen. But when you check your photo, the background is a distracting mess. Why it happens? Your eyes naturally isolate subjects. Your brain selectively ignores background distractions and focuses attention. Cameras, however, need specific setting and lenses to create that lovely background blur, known as bokeh. What you can do? Use a wide aperture, like f1.8 or f2.8, that creates a shallower depth of field. Get closer to your subject. The closer you are, the blurrier the background will be. Use a longer focal length. Zoom in. Compression increases background softness. Make sure your subject is far from the background. Distance matters. Not every scene needs blur. Sometimes sharp details, front to back, it's more powerful. But when you want your subject to pop, mastering depth of field, it's the key. You are in a cozy room lit by warm lamps. It feels inviting and peaceful. But your photo turns out yellow and murky, or weirdly blue if your camera tries to fix it. Why it happens? Your brain automatically adjusts to different light temperatures, so everything looks natural. Your camera doesn't always get the white balance right. What you can do? Set your white balance manually, for example tungsten or custom Kelvin setting. Or adjust the color temperature in post-processing. Use a white object in the frame to help your camera set a more accurate tone. If you like the warm mood, don't fight it, just make sure the rest of your photo supports that feeling. While our cameras can't match the complexity of the human eye, they do have one huge advantage: instant feedback. With digital cameras and smartphones, we can see our results immediately, and that's powerful. Here is how you can use that to your advantage. Take a test shot. Don't just snap once and hope. Take a photo, look at the result and ask, is the exposure right? Is the subject in focus? Is this what I wanted to say? Use the histogram. Many cameras let you check the light distribution. It's like a map showing if your photos it's too bright, too dark or just right. Especially when you're photographing details, zoom in on your camera's screen to check sharpness and focus. Whether it's exposure, white balance or focus point, tweak and reshoot. Your camera isn't guessing anymore. You are in a full control. Treat your LCD screen like live feedback tool, not just a preview. The more you interact with it, the more you train your eye to see like your camera. Modern tech might not be perfect, but it gives us more flexibility than ever before. You just need to know how to use it, and now you do. As much as we love our gear, it's important to remember, every camera has limits. Knowing those limits and how to work around them, it's key to getting better results. Let's break it down. Your eye can shift focus and perspective effortlessly. Your camera, it's stuck with the lens you give it. If you are trying to photograph a distant bird, for example, and your lens doesn't zoom far enough, your subject looks tiny and lost. What you can do? Get closer if possible. Use a longer lens if you are doing this often, or shoot in high resolution and crop in post-processing. Cropping isn't cheating, it's using the tools available to match your vision. Your camera sensor determines how much light and detail it can capture. A smaller sensor might struggle in low light or produce more noise in the shadows. What you can do? Learn your camera's sweet spot for ISO and exposure. Consider upgrading if you find yourself constantly pushing against your camera limits. But remember, great photos come from you, not just your gear. Your camera is smart, but it doesn't know what is important in your frame. It might focus on the background or expose for the sky when you wanted the subject lit properly. What you can do? Take control with manual focus or focus lock. Use exposure compensation or manual mode. Set your focus point manually. Tell your camera exactly what matters. You are the artist, your camera is just a tool. Don't feel limited. Feel empowered. When you know what your camera can and cannot do, you become more creative, more resourceful, and ultimately a stronger photographer. So now you know, your eyes and brain are doing a lot more than your camera ever could. But with a little knowledge and a few simple techniques, you can close that gap and start capturing images that reflects what you actually see. Let's quickly recap. Our eyes have an incredible dynamic range and real-time processing that cameras just cannot match. But cameras gives us tools like instant feedback, manual control, and high-resolution capabilities. And when you understand your camera's limitations, from lenses to exposure to focus, you can work with it, not against it. The key to better photography is learning to see like your camera. When you start thinking in terms of light, contrast, and framing the way your camera does, everything changes. Have you ever been frustrated by a photo not matching what you saw with your eyes? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. If you are ready to dive deeper and unlock your creative potential, I invite you to join my The Art of Seeing online course. It's designed to help you develop a unique photographic voice and truly master the art of visual storytelling. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep seeing creatively.